Hi everyone, this is Yurii, this is ORIL, and this is our new episode of Innovation Blueprint podcast. And today, as always, we have another great guest in our studio. And today, our guest is a beautiful lady who has a great experience in the PropTech, who's not just a lady, but the CEO and co-founder of one of the most incredible startups for the last couple years with the name UrbanMix. Her name is Sharon. Give a bigger round of applause to Sharon. I know there's not a lot of people around me. However, so Sharon, say hello to the crowd.
Hi, crowd, and hi, Yuri. How are you?
Doing great. Thank you for finding the
Yeah.
time for this podcast. I really appreciate it. I know that we scheduled that long time ago, and right now we're excited to see you here and get
Mm.
some insights from you, some maybe secrets about the product that you guys do. And actually, I would like to hear everything that you think about the real estate and AI nowadays. But we're going to get back to this question a little bit later. In
Mhm.
the beginning, Sharon, you're a co-founder of UrbanMix. In your profile on LinkedIn, it says that UrbanMix, it's a cutting-edge real estate software to bring the reuse of existing buildings into the smart city era. That sounds pretty cool. However, what does it mean? Can you please explain us what exactly you
Yes,
guys do?
you reminded me that I need to change my tagline. It's about time, but that's the idea. Actually, we are coming from the urban world. That's why the name Urban Mix. And in the urban world, one of the most important topics in smart cities, right? How building can talk to each other, how building can collaborate. And in our case, we're taking those concepts from the smart city into the building. So we're taking the idea of visualization and automation and 3D, and we combine them into one software that is very, very different than anything else in the property management, asset management world because of those unique attributes.
Okay, and what exactly your product does?
Urban Mix is a platform for property manager and asset managers and leasing teams to collaborate on the turnover process. It's based on the idea that those things that happens in the real estate company are usually very siloed and each one take care of its own process. And we are creating a platform for all of them to collaborate by seeing the building. We are creating a 3D model of each building, and on the building, we show all the information and data and processes that are happening. For example, if we're talking about um, inspection, someone came into the unit, did the inspection, then it's automatically stored in the building, in the unit itself, and the person at the office, the asset manager, can see what happened. And that's just one very simple example. The idea is that you can see your entire portfolio in 3D as an asset manager that sits at the office. And every day you come to the office, you see all of your buildings, and you have notification what needs to happen, where and when. And because you talked about AI, of course we're using AI, and then AI can help them prioritize and tell them which task is more urgent, which task is um, urgent but not on your dashboard. It's someone else's job, and you just need to follow up on that. And the way that we're doing that is very easy and very simple to understand. So we're taking the idea of visualization not just as a beautiful thing, but as a collaboration tool. Like if I have this object that I see and everyone sees which unit and where is it in the process, it becomes so much more easier to collaborate.
Okay. Thank you for sharing. That sounds really interesting. And this is pretty complex solution as I got from your answer. But where the idea came from, when did you guys decide to create this and why? Is that was some specific situation that you went through, or you just analyzed the market and you found this niche and you decide to fill it out? How did it happen?
So I'm an architect originally. I spent many years planning buildings from the ground up, and I learned like inside out the processes of building and how important it is to be able to see and to know where things are happening. I also did a PhD in urban planning, and that's where I got acquainted with the idea of visualization, that you can actually use the 3D model of the architect as a tool to show other people what you think, what you know. Once you see something with another person, you both understand what you're talking about. It's not in your brain or someone else's brain. Like I can say a word and you can imagine one thing and I will imagine a different thing. So now we know exactly what we're talking about, both of us. And so from this large understanding of building and visualization, I collaborated with my co-founder, Daphna, who was the head of the strategic planning department in a city in Israel. And at that time, she managed something like 60,000 residential units from her office with no smart tools. And
Wow, that's impressive.
And the cool thing is that here in the United States, real estate companies do the same. Like you don't need to be a city. A real estate portfolio can come up to large numbers. They don't know what happens on the ground. The asset manager at the office create their own spreadsheets to track operations in each building. And we did many conversations with dozens of real estate asset managers, and we heard the same answer over and over again. Like, how do you get your data? I have a spreadsheet. Who sent you the data? Property manager. Each property manager send me different data, and I have to collect the information myself. So now we are collecting the information from them, for them, from all the property managers, and creating a desktop that is standardized and visualized, where they can see what happens in each one of their buildings.
Okay, that sounds really cool. And the question, what kind of information do you guys collect? Is that something that's coming from hardware that installed in some specific apartments and buildings, or you collecting some reports from the property owners or renters when they place some orders? How that part works?
That's an excellent question. So we have a different dashboard for property managers and a different dashboard for asset managers, and the property manager is responsible on sending the information to the office. So the data that we use is spreadsheets that they have already, the rent roll, the situation that is in every building, the expiration date of a unit. And from that moment, what we realized is that every property management software like Yardi, Upfolio, RealPage, they usually leave them hanging. Like from the moment one tenant decides to leave the apartment until the moment another tenant decides to get in, nothing is documented on those platforms. And we're taking over this empty space, and we are helping them automate the lease renewal, the move-in, move-out processes, and the new lease. So the idea here is to reduce downtime on units and to not lose any money on empty days.
So it is a continuous, consistent process when you guys always getting information 24/7, 365 days a year. Is that correct?
Yes, yeah. It's live on the platform with the asset manager that can see what happens in all of the buildings by getting information from the property managers.
Yeah, that already sounds like a point that helped you to stand out from the competitors. However, I'm pretty sure that's not only one thing that helped you to do that. So what else, guys, makes you different compared to some similar firms who does similar stuff?
Yes, thank you for the question. It's a great one. I think the most unique thing about our platform is the use of a 3D model. It's not just because it's beautiful. A lot of people tell me like, okay, it's beautiful, but what else? Why do I need a 3D model? So the 3D model there is a way to make people use the software and a way for people to collaborate and understand what's happening in the building. And the way that we combine a workflow with a 3D model is very unique, because what we do is we take their spreadsheets and their current workflow and we pour it onto the building, so you can see For example, all the expiration, all the units that are about to expire. You can see them according to color code. You can see them according to location. You can see according to urgency. And by just pressing a button, you can click and filter them. That's something that is not similar to any other software that does those kind of things. And it gives them a powerful tool to understand their building and to manage it in a much more efficient way.
Yeah. I've been through your website, and yeah, that look pretty fancy, and you can see straight away that red, yellow, green blocks there that moving on that 3D model, which is kind of cool. And yeah, you will never have a second chance to create the first impression, and the first impression is pretty good. I mean, when you open, you see there is something modern, because like PropTech domain is kind of old-fashioned, and a lot of things still running here on paper. As you said, when you came to this market, like everything was just noted in some spreadsheets, which is we can understand, but in 2025 it's a little bit weird because there's the era of technologies and you guys implementing that. And your solution for me sounds pretty complex. How did you guys develop that? Did you guys find some third-party company who help you with that? Or you have like internal team where you decide to create the product and you start working from the beginning until now? How that part works?
We are lucky to have design partners, people who really believed in our vision. So, for example, the Charney company, the real estate company in New York, whom we shared our vision with, and they were so excited about it that they decided to invest in the company and also gave us office spaces at their offices where I sit right now. And they're our first users, so we can test everything that we do with them, and it's an amazing process. And we get real-time feedback, and we develop the product hand in hand with our customers. That's an incredible experience to be able to do that. And that's only just one part of the process. We also have design partners that we are working with them on developing the inspection feature, for example. And that's the way that we started, like working with design partners who are gradually converting into paying customers.
Okay. By using your product, guys, who are you aiming? Like, what's your target audience? Who will get the biggest amount of benefits from using of your product?
So asset managers, or I just heard a different name for that, the corporate property manager, the guy who sits at the office and needs to make sure that all the buildings are on time, on budget, that there is no delays, all the operations of this empire is taking place from one space. And the person who will be able to control that is the one who is gaining most from our product.
Yeah. Okay, thank you for sharing. And another question that I have, as a software development company, we're attending a lot of conferences, and what we see that a lot of companies, like young companies with a product on market, struggling with the main thing, that's integration of their solutions into existing platforms like Yardi and etc. So how that works for you guys? Is that possible to integrate your solution in some platforms, or it's a standalone application that people have to use separately?
So we our goal is to integrate with Yardi, AppFolio, ORIL page, of course, as the titans of the industry. And the idea is that, the user don't need to do anything in order to use our product. But if we're talking about challenges, of course, that's something that takes time. All the integrations are happening as we move. And at the end goal would be to integrate with those softwares.
So you're not integrated right now, but you're planning to do that.
Yeah.
Okay. And another question regarding this implementation and using of your product. How easy your product for using? Is that some specific, I don't know, classes that people have to attend to learn how to use your product? Or it's easy peasy when you just do a couple clicks, maybe read some small manual, and you already know how to use it? So let's rate it from 1 to 10. When 1, it's easy peasy, you can open that and start using straight away. and 10 where you need to hire some person who will teach you how to use it? Where are you at that scale?
I would say one, but it's my software, so I don't know. But I think one of the goals is like the thing that really, really led our way of thinking in this product is simplicity and intuition. And the whole point of being able to press on a unit and see everything that's related to this unit is based on this simplicity and easy to use. Like, it's not an Excel sheet, it's not a dashboard, it's not like tons of data on your screen. It's your building, you know what you need to do there. And if a unit is blinking and telling you that something needs to happen, you just click on it and see what needs to happen. So it's about gamification, if you will, of this whole industry, about being able to play around with your village in a way. Like, I have all my buildings here and I know what I need to do with them. And that was the whole goal from the beginning.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. Yeah. And another question, you already mentioned that something can be implemented, that you're working on integrations in the future. However, if let's say you would be able to create some software of your dream, let's call it like that, what would it be? Something that will make your life or life of your users easier and your product more beneficial.
I can tell you about my dream about the industry, about real estate. And my dream is that you were talking about integration to ERD, but what I want is everything else to be integrated into the model. I think it makes so much sense and so much intuitive than any other software. So if you can have all the systems of the building, including all the PMS, including all the things that are related to security, to maintenance, everything can and should be managed on the 3D model of the building. And that's the vision and the dream software that I would love to have.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good. And I think maybe not in the next couple of years, but in general, it is feasible. And that's something that we can reach. However, we need to work on that because, as I said before, that PropTech is very old-fashioned domain, and we need to work on that. However, what definitely can help us to do that, that's AI. And can you please tell me, you already said that you guys using AI to analyze some data, but what exactly AI does for you and how you use it and what kind of learning machine you guys use, maybe if you know that technical details. So how big the deal about AI for you and your product?
Well, it starts with the small things that everyone does, like using code, like ChatGPT to write parts of the code, and some off-the-shelf software to make some of the processes much easier, things that we don't need to develop ourselves, but be able to rely on existing things. And of course, the chat and the real estate agent that everyone are talking about, like, if I have all this data on my platform, of course, I'm going to have a chat in the right left corner to ask it questions. But the unique thing about what we do is that you don't just get a textual answer from the AI, you get the visual model change according to your conversation with the AI. So I'm asking my agent, what lists are being expired this month? And I will not get a list of units, I will see it on the model. And that's I think the coolest thing that we are doing.
That sounds really impressive. That sounds really impressive, yeah. And what do you think about AI in general? Where that's gonna bring us? I'm not saying in 1 year, but let's say 5 years, maybe decade.
Have you seen Westworld?
I don't think so.
It's about the robots that are taking over the world.
Oh, I've seen Terminator, and the end there wasn't good.
No, I think luckily that we're very far away from that situation. I think that AI is doing wonderful things in the world. It's giving us tools to be much more efficient. I don't think it should replace humans, but I do believe that it really helps humans become better and more efficient and save a lot of time in manual work. So good
So
way.
basically, you seeing AI as a co-pilot, maybe add on to some functionality, but not a replacement for the human at this point or even in 10 years.
I hope it will not replace humans.
I'm pretty sure it will not, because like human communication, that's something very, very unique, and that's not something that can be easy replaced. But if we're talking about a product like yours, where you guys collecting information, you're displaying this information with
Mhm.
very easy and fancy way, and it is very helpful. How do you think for the companies like yours, can AI completely replace your employees? I'm not talking about the CEOs or maybe
Mhm.
sales manager, but the technical stuff, and be fully automated solution.
I don't feel like I'm the right person to even think about
Which,
that.
yeah, we just no. I mean, we are talking just about your personal opinion. Like, in
Mhm.
my
Yeah.
personal opinion, I think that AI, it's a great tool that will have a huge, huge opportunities in the future, but it will never replace the human beings. That's what I
Yeah.
think. But that's my personal thing, and that's why we having this conversation. We're asking
Yeah.
your opinion.
Yeah. I think the same way as you do that humans are humans, they will stay humans, um, and they will become maybe much better with AI, hopefully not taking advantage of those capabilities for the worst side that it can evolve into.
Okay, that sounds good. And another question that I want to ask, talking about the, I would say, near future, not something like decades from now. Do you guys have some excited plans for the near future? Maybe something that you're willing to share about the next steps for UrbanMix?
Yeah. Actually, we just launched a new feature that we're really, really excited about. It's talking about a niche in New York City and a lot of other cities in the United States that is about stabilized lease renewal units that are rent controlled and need renewal every year. It's something that is a very big pain point for a lot of landlords. The idea that those units are costing them a lot of money, they're not gaining a lot of money of them, but they still need to renew the lease every year. And we developed a lease stabilized lease renewal feature that helps mitigate and help the landlords comply with the city rules, and at the same time save them a lot of time and money by automating the entire process. So that's live right now, and we're experimenting with that in New York to see how people will react to that. And besides that, we're also working on a new inspect feature that enables property manager to inspect the units in a very, very intuitive way and easy way that creates the 3D model and the floor plan. So it kind of, from the inspection of the unit, it moves into the 3D model um, in the platform, and it kind of creates a closed circle of activity that you can inspect, make ready, and list the unit through just one app.
That sounds like a great improvement to me. And if, let's say, we will talk about the future of your company in the future, which markets are you guys aiming? Is that going to be, like, say, some New York, or like a big cities like New York? I don't know, maybe LA, maybe
Mhm.
Miami. I don't know. Or you hitting like nationwide market, or you want to be a worldwide product? What's the plans for that?
For the near future, we're focusing on New York, and we're planning to expand to big cities. I know Chicago rental market is booming these days, but also for San Francisco and LA. we want to focus on multifamily at start. But as we grow, of course, it's not just about residential. The concept of being able to manage your building on your building is something that is relevant to all type of real estate. And we have on our roadmap offices as something that needs the exact same tool, and commercial real estate. So that's the roadmap for the near future. And of course, like every startup, I want the entire world to use my product, and that all the buildings in the world will be in this platform.
That would be great because like I really seen your website and I like it. I like the simplicity of the product. And that's pretty cool that you don't have to run through all these boring spreadsheets. And
Mhm.
I wish you good luck on your plans. I'm pretty sure you will reach your goals. And it feels like we're slowly but surely running out of time. So the last question from my side will be how our listeners can learn a little bit more about your company, your product, where they can, I don't know, schedule some demo call or just got more info.
Cool. So we have our website. Most of the information is there. We also, as I said, launched the stabilized with renewal feature that is coming up with a book a demo, and they're welcome to use that. Our LinkedIn is constantly evolving, and we are also adding a new blog to our website. So there should be all the news and the things that are going on every month.
Okay. So thank you for sharing. Thank you for being with us. And that's already tradition at our podcast. That's going to be something, some final statement from our guest. So, Sharon, tell us, what's your final statement are going to be for our crowd today?
Well, someone told me just this weekend something that I really relate to. It comes from Walt Disney, one of my most favorite persons and admirable image. He said that doing the impossible is kind of fun. And I think most startup CEOs will relate to that. So doing the impossible is kind of fun.
That sounds very inspiring. So, thank you for that. So, to our crowd, that was Sharon from UrbanMix. Sharon, thank you one more time for being with us. And our crowd, guys, thank you for being with us today. And next week, we're going to launch the new podcast. And on this week, we already scheduled another recording with another amazing guest. So, thank you so much and see you next time. Have a good one.